Honestly, I think Golden Guardians is a pretty strong team. I think generally their mid-jungle support link up really well, and I think the mid-jungle is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the league. So, I mean, our mid-jungle is pretty good too. You know, we've got Palafox and Contractz who's always playing very well. And I think as long as we can hold it down in bot and probably them, then I think we'll be good for the series.
And on them, they are. They're up 2-0 so far. That was FBI talking about the Golden Guardians before the series. Before we get into Champ Select for game number 3, congratulations to all you at home who topped your leagues in Fantasy LCS on Sleeper. For those of y'all who didn't make it to the winner's circle, come back next split for a shot at redemption. And speaking of redemption, the Golden Guardians are going to need a big old shot of that right about now. They're down 0-2.
Well, they got M&S cheering for him in the crowd. We saw M&S with the Gori sign.
I think he's Korean biased.
Oh, okay.
Cheering for his Korean friends.
That's the real team. It's not C9. It's just Team Korea.
Yeah. They're all buddies sitting here.
Well, maybe the blessing of M&S will be enough. We'll see. Golden Guardians are over on the blue side. NRG on the red. It's the Ivern and Tristana banned out by Golden Guardians. Vi banned out by NRG. I saw a lot of people online clamoring for a Kai'Sa ban from Golden Guardians this time around if they're not going to first pick it themselves. Exactly. Just keeping it away from FBI, who has had 2 monster performances on it so far.
This is interesting because we're back to Golden Guardians on blue side, and there's no Rumble ban or Jax ban, so they can only ban one of them. And I think Licorice for sure is going to go the other.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, it's like if I'm Golden Guardians, I just slam first pick Kai'Sa if it's not banned, and then I play Jax or Rumble.
Yep.
And you kind of just play around Licorice. You deny one of those big picks. So I feel like NRG have drafted in a way that really does kind of favor what Golden Guardians wants.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Also, Golden Guardians on the blue side here, having a lot more options. I lost my train of thought thanks to the sign. Oh wow. Just insta-lock like that. They could. Right. Oh, never mind.
So now, do you think there's any shot that Dhokla just goes Rumble? Because they banned the Jax.
He doesn't strike me as
a Rumble
enjoyer
no.
like Licorice does, and it would force him into a more volatile matchup. And today, I think Licorice has been showing that he's a much better laner today, at least. I mean, honestly, Dhokla played well in the last game in laning phase. They dove him early game thanks to a good trade from him. So I think he's playing fine. Just Rakan is so OP in lane. He just can't lose to anything.
I mean, Licorice has just straight up been really good this split, right? Like, I think deservingly so. Yeah. He got first team All-Pro. Yeah. He has really impressed me. He was good at MSI as well, even against, Ben in 369 and stuff.
Yeah, definitely the most improved player
by far this year.
But also the player who initially regressed the most from where he was. He was an LCS champion in 2020 with us, and then he just had a really bad slump for a while, and now he's picking back up. Now he's showing us why he was champion at some point.
It's so interesting, right? Because some of these players on Golden Guardians, it's a similar story for Stixxay as well. They both came in a league, they won titles. They're kind of almost, it's like they peaked right out of the gate, and then it felt like it was downhill. Yeah. And we talked to them on the dive last split, and they felt that they hadn't individually regressed. They just felt that the circumstances around them had changed a lot, and they were struggling to succeed, on a team where things aren't working in the same way. So it is interesting though to see Licorice, kind of just has flipped that switch and been able to.
Honestly, that I know everything about. When I was in TSM, I felt like I wasn't worse than when I was in T9.
But it just didn't work.
It just didn't work, and sometimes that just happens to even the best of teams. And there it is, the Rumble.
All right, they're going to find that Rumble there for Licorice. They also lock in the Rakan, putting huhi on an engage. Yep. I know this is one of the big changes we wanted to see. Support Maokai was not the recipe for success, so that's out the window. Instead, they're going to be able to break up the Xayah Rakan as well as secure the engage for themselves. I'm liking what we're seeing from Golden Guardians so far here in the Game 3 draft.
It's interesting that NRG didn't pick the Rakan over the Xayah, even though Golden Guardians already had the Kai'Sa, so they actually want Golden Guardians to pick the Rakan. It seems like they have some counter pick to it, they seem to think at least.
Do you think that they were thinking that they wouldn't have grabbed it?
I'm not sure what they were thinking, honestly, but they don't seem to care about the Xayah Rakan part. They just want the Xayah only. They don't seem to think that they need the Rakan or anything. IgNar's a very good Rakan player though, so it's a bit strange. But of course, he can always play the Nautilus or the Rel.
I mean, the Azir prio is obviously pretty high, right?
Yeah, but they could have picked Azir Rakan if they wanted to, right?
Yeah.
But I guess then they can't pick Dhokla's champ into the Rumble, so it makes some sense what they're doing.
Yep.
Golden Guardians could have banned away the Rel and Nautilus. I think that would have been a good choice by them. Poppy also annoying for Rakan, of course.
Yep. Now it seems like it's just protection bans for the Azir, right? Yone is kind of the go-to, but I'm a little bit concerned for NRG. I mean, we have to see, right? Like game 1 was a catastrophic top lane for Dhokla. You can't expect it to go like that. They also got Sejuani in that game, so I wonder, does NRG take Sejuani on 4 here to try to deny it? Because I feel like Sejuani is just such a strong early game jungler that can actually punish.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else he would go for at this point with Poppy, Ivor, and
Yeah.
the Nocturne, the Vibe, Band.
Rel
Like,
band
the Maokai
out,
is
too.
open, of course, but without, you know, Tristana and Jace in the game, it doesn't really feel as good to play. It's just a tank at that point that's worse than Sejuani.
Yeah, I feel like
he
Sejuani
could give
makes
it
a lot of
away
sense.
to Golden Guardians to play Trundle again. It wasn't that impactful in the first game.
So it's Nautilus instead. So now probably Sedge just goes over to Golden Guardians. I feel like they just do physical damage mid plus Sedge potentially. Silas, if you go Silas, I don't know that they want to play
Yeah, I think you need
Sedge. Then you need
better
a
ults.
physical damage jungler.
Yeah, you need more ults, I think,
Yeah.
than just the Nautilus ult. Azir is okay, of course. Xayah is okay. Xante, I don't think it's good.
Yeah, he's
so-
just hovering.
Yeah.
Okay, Jarvan makes sense. This is really aggressive.
River Jarvan.
Oh, okay.
Jarvan. He is feared for this one.
It feels like they want to play heavily to side lanes then. Will be interesting to see actually where they want to go, if they want to just try to slam home advantages for Licorice, because you're going J4 Taliyah, which is, you know, really powerful as far as being able to move those side lanes. There's not point and click setup for Taliyah though.
Yeah.
There is of course like, okay, Jarvan can hit a
there.
knockup, Rakan can hit a knockup, but those are not like Leona or Nautilus or whatever, where it's like super
Alistar,
free, Alistar.
Rel, yeah.
So it is a little bit more difficult, I think, to pull off that combo, but at the same time, you look at the other side, there's 3 melee champs here. The rocks are going to be pretty problematic in team fights for all those champions moving forward. And if you can actually kite back, you have a lot of damage.
One thing for Golden Guardians is that they are very heavy AP damage, so I think Stixxay is going to be forced to go AD Kai'Sa here.
Yeah.
And the whole reason Kai'Sa is OP is because of that poke build, right? It's so
Yep.
it has everything. It has DPS on the Baron, it has poke, it has CDR for more ults, like it has everything. But if you're playing Kai'Sa with AD, you're kind of forced to full send, you know, get in there and just play like an AD assassin almost.
Yeah.
So
Do you think there's room for a hybrid build where you could still get like multiple upgrades, like people used to do some of those old builds?
Yeah, the
where you go
Happy
like,
Meal builds.
Yeah, where you go like Nashers and you go Quick Blades. You do like a little bit of this.
yeah,
you know?
I'm not a fan of like there's a lot of Kai'Sa theory crafters out there doing like the worst shit I've ever seen, but you know, like I'm not a fan of that.
They're cooking. It's garbage, but they're cooking something.
If you're playing AD, just buy Kraken Slayer and never quick plates, guys.
Yeah.
It's not a crime to buy real items on Kai'Sa. You know, Storm Racer, Ginsu's like, all my upgrades. If I get 3 items and a half,
Let him cook, but I
like
ain't
some guy on Sluggy game buys 2 BF swords first base. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
what is this, man?
Well, and he's lethal tempo, so I think it is just gonna be full.
Yeah, it has to be at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't play AB Kai'Sa with Taliyah and
Yeah, it
Rumble
doesn't
with
make
Jarvan
sense.
jungle. That's,
Especially when there's actual tanks on the other side.
in
It's
solo
Cassante,
queue-
Sejuani.
in solo queue, my ADC will always have AB build here. And then every team buys Maw and Fortune Nature, and we just can't win.
It's like, all right, well,
Stixxay, of course, not
Unlucky.
solo queue ADC.
well,
I will say this comp for Golden Guardians, this is what they play the whole split. This is how they win games. Full send, early game pressure, huhi on engage, all the boxes are checked. Top lane matchup is a lot more, not Licorice favorite, but just Licorice comfort zone, I would say. So they've done a good job adapting this one.
now or never for the Golden Guardians. That first one, the throw, still probably hurting a little bit. That second one, a much stronger performance for NRG, dominating from the early game, being able to just absolutely choke them out with the power of the poke composition. River on Jarvan, this is one of my favorite picks of his. I just love seeing the way that he finds creative opportunities and plays to make with some of the pathing and early ganking power that the champion has.
And then he full clears. Against River, there's a thing where when he plays Jarvan, he always full clears because everyone on the whole map is shaking in their boots.
Thinking he's
They
got
know
level 2
he can
gank.
be anywhere. He can EQ over Dragon Wall, the Baron Wall, he can dodge your ward, he can flash over the Tribush. So he just full clears. And he knows everyone else can play safe because the pressure of River Jarvan is something else.
Just by existing,
Trust
he's
me, I've been there.
influencing the lanes.
No wards anywhere. Oh, guys, where is he? Please, someone find him.
I mean, honestly, it can work out really well in those circumstances, because if you're paying too much respect to a jungler, you're kind of just passively losing your lanes.
Just look at the vision in the river. There's a ward in the river bush. There's a ward in the pixel bush on bot side. There's a ward in the top ramp. There's wards everywhere for NRG. They are not getting ganked level 2 by River as he's going to the mid lane.
Oh,
Not getting ganked
there
level
it
2.
is.
Oh.
Flashy Q, and he
Okay.
forces
I thought you were a
the
pro
Azir
player or
flash.
something, Zven, you know?
But that one you can't stop. if he wants to play flashes, he can. There's nothing you can do about that.
Well, I actually kind of love that, because he didn't spend a lot of time. One of the things I am critical of sometimes is when he goes for these aggressive plays, but then he spends like 30 seconds sitting inside brushes.
Oh, IgNar's just gonna die if he's
wow.
not careful here. Down
They
to
didn't even
50
heal, man.
HP.
That was that was
No
confident.
limits. Yeah, if they had the Hail of Blades there instead of the Lethal Tempo, I think that might have been a much better trade. Maybe
Yeah.
getting a flash or a heal or something there. But Lethal Tempo in lane is good in a long fight, but in a short burst like that, it doesn't do
Doesn't do
much.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously, you're playing AD Kai'Sa for being able to have some frontline damage later on.
Exactly.
Well, all the lanes are feeling pretty solid for Golden Guardians now. I mean, bottom lane, you had a nice little edge there for Stixxay and huhi nearly
IgNar
getting
still
the
has
kill.
flash. They could be dead bot.
Let's see. IgNar's still also only got about half HP, so I hope that they're ready to commit here and not just
really low though.
into the doom.
If he postures aggressively, they might know it's coming.
All right, there it is. Flash, drench line into the wall. And huhi and Stixxay just walk it off.
I feel like you gotta aim towards both of them there, not just the Kai'Sa. So if he flashes, you can go for the Rakan afterwards, or just flash alt attack instead. And then once he flashes, you hook.
Yeah.
A little bit forced play here for NRG, now really behind in tempo on Contractz here. He's down almost 2 camps of time here.
Yeah.
Of course, he didn't lose his camp time, they're still there, right? He just won't get them in time, so River might be able to get level 4 here on his Crux and just make a play somewhere.
And that's what I was saying earlier. What I like about it is he can just go right back towards mid. I mean, he spent no time on the early gank. Now he spotted that vision plant actually saved Palafox's life.
Yeah, that was way too important there. Palafox is shifting sands, get him away from River. Who, without that plant, that would have been a freebie.
That was actually crazy close, though. He almost got knocked out of that. He would have been dead, I think.
Back up in top side, the Rumble versus K'Sante matchup. This was a major pain point in game number 1 as Dhokla fell very far behind Licorice's Rumble. Obviously, we know how that game still ended up going. Dhokla eventually catching up as Golden Guardians' errors caught up with them, but the laning phase itself was just no opportunities anywhere for the K'Sante.
Yeah, this game is doing much better in CS, but he's still low, has a base early here. Of course, in the first game, the biggest problem was that he got dove early by Sejuani, right?
Yeah.
This game, River has been all around the mid lane, so I'm not a believer of this matchup in top lane. It looks really hard for K'Sante. Whenever the camera's on him, his wave is always frozen, he's always low HP, gankable by anything. I feel like if River had focused on top side this game, it could have been looking a lot different. Still down 10 CS at least here, once this wave is collected by Licorice, so looks really hard for NRG. I'm not sure if they think this is the best matchup they can get in top lane.
I mean, this is the thing. I don't know if you've had discussions with people, with the top laners I've all talked to. When you ask them what's the good matchup that you want to play in a Rumble, no one seems to really have an answer. Everyone's kind of like, well, everything kind of loses. Sometimes people will say, oh, we could play Gnar and do it, but then the response is generally, but then if he hits one Electro Harpoon, then you die
once and it's over for you. Some people, oh my god, that's a good trade.
Yeah, this is real bad news for Dhokla.
He has no TP, and Licorice still has TP. He has no buy. He can just base at any point here, buy his items, and then it gets even worse for him.
Contractz is good here. At least coming up to try to help shadow this a little bit, but no. Dhokla can regenerate a little bit of HP thanks to the refillable potion. River goes back into his own jungle. It's a plus 500 gold lead for the Golden Guardians with no kills on the board. A huge part of that is this advantage in the top lane in the farm department, but there's small advantages in all 3 lanes for the Golden Guardians.
Yeah, exactly, and this pressure towards mid, we'll see if they can find any sort of a repeat before the flash comes up. I think that's why huhi's moving here, trying to see if there is some sort of an angle. They clearly want to unlock Gori. Like when you're playing Taliyah, you don't want Taliyah locked in mid lane getting perma-shoved in by Azir. So you want the Azir scared. You want to be able to get pushed so he can move around with his jungler and try to make plays.
Ever since she got nerfed a long time ago, she doesn't have the same wave clear she used to have anymore. So now you have to gank for her to give her some timings to roam and enable him to like go top, for example, and dive Dhokla or help Licorice, set up a freeze in the gank, something like that. So I like Golden Guardians game plan so far this game. But top lane is looking so rough. Down double CS here. He has a big wave to collect, so he'll only down like 20 CS at the end of this, but
yeah, there's about 8-10 minions there from
this game. The Rumble is so good against the 3 tanks of NRG.
Triple melee? Yeah.
With the demonic embrace build especially, he's gonna do so much damage to those tanks in team fights.
Yeah, well that's what I was saying with Taliyah as well. I feel like when you're playing these triple melee comps, it's actually so hard to fight through Rumble Wall and Taliyah. You're trying to walk through the rocks, or just getting
Jarvan ult as well.
Yep.
Jarvan Rumble onto the Xayah.
Yeah, it's a good point.
He's just proxying right now top lane. He's chilling.
Oh, Contractz. IgNar finding River there in his own jungle. They drop the Ignite on him. The flash from the Golden Guardians jungler trying to get away from this one. Flash to land the second half of the W from Contractz. He needs a little bit more to finish off River. He's not going to find it. Meanwhile, it was first blood up on the other side of the map. It's mid lane. The roam from Licorice setting it up and getting it done, putting Palafox in a black and white screen.
Yeah, I want to see how that happened because Licorice, as you said, was proxying, went down through the enemy jungle, and then I wasn't watching the minimap. I was actually watching the play on screen, so I didn't see how he got that kill, probably with the equalizer, which is on cooldown, but able to get a kill on the Palafox, so they survive on bot side, and it's now a pretty significant early game advantage.
Yeah, Licorice is just having time of his life.
Smurfing, man.
But NRG might look for a bot dive. Don't have a wave though. Golden Guardians are aware of it. Yep, the procs. Oh,
Gori now in some trouble. Palafox coming in, but Dhokla goes all out. A little bit of
But he could die, Licorice. He
miscommunication
could die
there
here
on
now.
the ulties, puts Dhokla in a bad spot. I feel like he's traded 100% here. Yeah, that one could have gone a little bit better as they use the FBI ulti trying to take Stixxay down, but he flashes out of the way of the feathers before they can fly. Contractz still waiting around here as IgNar goes in, finds the lockdown on the enemy support. Contractz still standing around nearby, but they don't want to overcommit to a dive. A TP coming in to reinforce the Golden Guardians as energy is forced back. Here's the Weaver's wall going in after IgNar. Seismic shove, not going to find a target here just yet, but he tosses Contractz to the side. Stixxay's ready to jump in there, and that's the third kill of the game for the Golden Guardians.
That was so well played by Golden Guardians, and this is what you love to see when one lane gets an advantage and they move that advantage around the map. Licorice wins top, goes mid, gets a kill there. Guess what? That means Gori has his TP to answer the play bot. He goes bot, gets them a kill, and it's this snowball effect that you always want to see from top level teams.
Palafox, bro, you can't just be eating like this when Dorman was proxying top. You know he has a timer to roam or base. He just goes all in. Maybe a communication error again there for NRG. Same here.
This is anti-synergy. He was dead to right for free because
It's just the worst option of the two to even use the Xayah ult, because you put yourself in so much danger by going into the towers. So
that seems like they're just not communicating in that, in that
Dhokla
spot.
is playing here, and then the top side thing where Rumble is proxying, so you know he's gonna be able to run the jungle. Just base probably, but he wants to go mid, right? So Palafox goes all in, and honestly, Golden Guardians playing a really good game here.
Do you think Dhokla might have thought that the all-out was only going to take the Taliyah back through the Azir wall instead of through the entire terrain
Honestly,
itself?
no idea how, like,
I'm trying to make sense of this.
My thought is he probably didn't know Azir had ult. And he was just mashing it. That's what makes the most sense to me, because Cassante ult takes you over like everything. You just have to be a little bit close to the wall and you're going through it.
not sure how it works with like player-made walls, like Trundle pillars or Azir ults, Jarvan ults.
It just connects as part of the additional wall.
Yeah, I think so too. That would make sense at least. Never know these days in this game, but that would make sense. But Golden Guardians, like you said, doing a very good job of paying it forward. Like once one guy gets a lead, he helps the mid laner helps someone else, and then now Stixxay and huhi, who were losing lane a little bit earlier in the game, taking some bad trades.
huhi with a knock, couple 1-2. Contractz down here in the bottom lane as FBI flashes away from the engage of River. There's your Glacial Prison, finding the Golden Guardians jungler, who's now stuck in his own Cataclysm. A little bit more backup damage comes out. The feathers fly! The flag!
flag was good.
One. The flag on his own corpse as he dies to take the Xayah with him.
That was actually sick flag from River. That was timed so well. That initial play, the flash had to be forced from FBI because he was a couple seconds away from ulti. And then with no flag and drag, when he gets ulted there's no way out for River, so he just turns and fights. But the timing right as he's landing from the Xayah ult, that was like picture perfect.
He actually just solo killed FBI.
Yeah, that was sick.
River Jarvan, man. River
It's
Jarvan. 4-2 for the Golden Guardians so far in this one. 10.5 minutes in, they're up almost 2,500 gold. As Palafox finds a nice shuffle on Gori, forcing him back underneath the tier 1. Needs a little bit more damage to secure the kill though, and there it is. The Conquering Sands send the Golden Guardians mid laner back to the spawn platform, but the Guardians in the meanwhile recognize their opportunity with a man advantage in the bottom side of the map to go after the first Drake of the game. Pretty slow first Drake, but a TP's coming in and NRG are ready to fight for it. IgNar here in the front line, going to be bursted down very swiftly. Stixxay taking the kill on that one, but a lot of DPS right back into River. Takes out the Golden Guardians jungler. Stixxay finds a little bit of damage onto Palafox, but now it's Contractz who's looking to take the Drake. No, sir. Stixxay secures it for the Golden Guardians.
Contractz had no smite. I think he used it in the fight right before that, unfortunately. And they must have tracked that because they walk up for the auto attack. They drop the equalizer on the dragon to actually try to steal it. So that sucks for NRG. The initial play looked like it was going to be really good for Golden Guardians, but very quick TP from the Cassante, and it is a little bit of a late arrival from the Rumble.
Just pain losing the dragon like that after a good team fight. You use your TP on Cassante as well, and then you're like, oh, yoink.
Yeah, no smite. Let's see. It was down to 12. It was a Q.
Yeah, it was a
from,
KP and Rain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was one of those guys.
Just painful.
You hate to see it. Well, unless you're the Golden Guardians, in which case you are more than happy to take
love
that
to see
outcome.
it.
Honestly, I'm hoping for more games than just 3, so am I allowed to have bias as a caster?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Sure.
Oh, I am, but you guys aren't, right?
Yeah, we'll stay unbiased. You can be biased.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Golden Guardians.
Okay. Zven's here for more games. As River, got to be careful there, disengaging with the flag combo.
What are they going to do? Fire you?
Yeah.
Just go back to playing.
They probably could ban me or something.
You're fine.
Take the risk.
Yeah.
Ban you from
flip it.
Tournament Realm? I don't even know if Tournament Realm has ban report function on it.
Nah,
Well,
you're good. You'd have to go pretty far, I think, to get banned.
Nice swap here from Golden Guardians. Using the power of the Rumble as well. Making sure that NRG has to answer them on their own side because they can't go on the other side against the Rumble ult. Use it on the wave.
Whoa! Oh, Contractz going in after Gori here. The Taliyah in some trouble. Not locked down for long enough, though, and now Palafox has to back away. Gori barely surviving there. Golden Guardians are happy with that outcome.
A good little sidestep there from Gori. It looked like he just kind of dodged down as Contractz came over the wall. Able to just barely avoid that Sejuani ulti. And
I think he could have just waited a little bit longer with the ultimate. You could just hit him a little bit, right?
yeah.
Could just melee him to death.
And now Palafox is the one who's in danger. He has to shift back out to make sure that he escapes as huhi showed up to try to get the freebie kill.
The crown, saving him here. A lot of controversy about the crown build these days on the Azirs in the LCS. Hang on, River wants it very badly.
Oh, there's the flash dunk. 2 points for River. 6-5 now for the Golden Guardians. As IgNar might just end up giving over another one. Got to be careful about this one. huhi coming around from the side to continue the assist here for the Golden Guardians. As they want that second plate, and they'll get it on their way out.
What's your thoughts on Crown? I don't think it's bad this game at all.
I think crown first item is really fine on Azir, but I
Yeah.
think you gotta buy a lot of damage afterwards. You just can't
You
go
can't do like
full-
Crown Banshees or Crown Zonias, that
That's
kind of
illegal.
garbage. That stuff is terrible. We can see the engage one more time. huhi R flash hits the W, and Palafox is just narrowly able to get away from the initial play. They spent a lot to kill him though.
He just tanked it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's ult flash from huhi, ult flash from River. So at the very least, you're getting a lot of resources here. I do think it's worth making the play as River to be able to get that because they have eyes on Dhokla on bot side. They have eyes on FBI on top side, so it's not like he's going to die for that. So still worth making the play, but at least Palafox made him pay for it.
It's definitely a fine play to make. I do think 2 flashes on your main engagers is pretty pricey for
Yeah, it's expensive.
just one kill, especially when the Herald is coming up like this. You won't have those tools for this Herald fight. IgNar, forced to flash.
Yep, another summoner spell forced out there. Dhokla just now completing his Iceborne Gauntlet. He is once again not having a good time in the Kai'Sa versus Rumble matchup.
I will say Gori's build is pretty weird. He's building 2 things at once. Like he's
Little
going
happy meal here.
Yeah, he's going Seraphs and Everfrost basically at the exact same time, right? So I think it's one of those things where he just always wants to buy a component when he goes back to base and hasn't had completion funny, but
Power spiking every base.
it's gonna be the biggest power spike ever though. You know, one item power spike is good, but what if you complete both items on the same base?
Power spiking
neat.
twice as hard. Once the Taliyah garage sale finally comes online, they'll be ready. But Palafox got to be careful here. Gori and River going in after him, but a TP
Again.
for a potential counterattack from NRG.
huhi's here as well though. This should be
Dhoklas
fine.
got to be careful about this. Nice footwork to get away from the Cataclysm. They're going to waste that ulti from River, who throws the flag over the wall, sees Contractz. So that means that they're not going to look for anything more.
Kind of looks like, once again, miscommunication there from Dhokla and Palafox, where Palafox was, dashing away as Dhokla started TPing.
Yeah.
Like they're not on the same page about fighting there.
They can't even really get anything on top side because like Herald's not there and Licorice has no TV, but who cares? Licorice is just pushing the tower.
Who's forcing the fight?
Yeah, huhi's the
45
target here
though.
at the very start, but they ain't gonna burst him down. Instead, it's IgNar killed first. huhi with a beautiful stasis to prevent energy from getting the kill back on him. Now River's here in the front, FBI's free firing. Palafox already got the kill on huhi. Golden Guardians just found themselves in a real bad spot. It's a 3-for-1 for NRG.
Why do we engage in a 4v5? Our top laner is bottom without TP. What?
Yeah,
this happened in the first game too?
Yeah, I thought what they were gonna do was like go in and just try to delay their bases and stuff.
Like a one shot and then out maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But they kind of just hard committed to the fight, and they end up getting punished for it. It's a great ulti from Palafox that gets them a lot of kills. They get 3 kills at the end of the day. The gold was still somewhat even.
Oh my God, FBI with a beautiful outplay to make it a 1-for-1 in what looked like a dicey situation. He flashes forward into the face of Stixxay, spending both summoner spells to take him out with the feathers before he dies.
It looked cool, but it's not worth it.
It was cool though.
Both summoners against Jarvan as Xayah. It's gonna be.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
That's
The
not
dragons
a
up
pricey kill right there.
no sums, no all.
I can guarantee you, River's gonna have a. He's gonna flash on his head next fight, no matter what.
Gonna have a fun time.
EQ, flash ult, rumble ult. He's just gonna die to rumble, I think, alone.
Yeah, it could be tough. So we can see this one more time. I thought, maybe going in for the initial play and then just trying to disengage after. And Azir is up on top side. Dokla's up on top side. Maybe they thought that Dhokla wasn't gonna be able to get there in time or something, but after the initial kill, when they continued chasing, this is where I was really surprised. Like, if you just got the Nautilus and then ran for the hills, then maybe it works.
The first part of the fight was a 4v3 for Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
But the second part of the fight was just a straight up What is he? Not sure what.
At first, it looked to me like, oh crap, I died, and then it's like, oh, it's going well.
Maybe he's just praying his teammates wins the fight after he dies. That's me sometimes too.
Battle Faker, please.
Oh boy, River just immediately goes in for the two-man dunk. There's what you guys are talking about. Jarvan builds the bucket, and it's full of Xayah stew. Season it with a little bit of side of Nautilus there. Two pickups, a double kill for Stixxay. The team with Kai'Sa gets a lot done in this series.
And they got tier 2 top. They just got that as well. So just like that's 5.4k gold lead here for Golden Guardians. It's getting back to about what the lead was in game number 1.
Yeah.
They have to make sure that they play cleanly though to actually close this one out because they are on match point.
Yeah, if you're gonna use your flash for 1-for-1, you've
got to be like in front of Bear in that fight you're gonna win or something.
Yeah, and you better, after you do it, you better hug your tower for a while because this happens. I guess I thought since River was top using the Herald that maybe he wouldn't be around mid lane, but still, not much to gain from being where FBI was.
Yeah.
Losing your top tower, tier 2, mid tower getting chunked. So much gold now in the pocket of Stixxay.
Seraph's completed on Gori's Taliyah.
Finally.
Gonna make him very difficult to kill now. You've got the stopwatch as well as the proto belt done for Licorice there on his Rumble. Back in the inventory of Dhokla, it's still just the Iceborne Gauntlet and a couple of tier 1 components that cost 400 gold each. Not the same look at all, but Licorice getting shuffled back towards FBI and Contractz. The feathers fly. FBI nearly dies to the dot. Even when the Rumble is in stasis, Licorice is that far ahead, but not quite enough damage means he still gets picked.
That was Licorice's flash as well. We didn't see the initial part of that play. I don't know if he tried to flash over the ult and failed it or what exactly happened, but I heard his flash going off as we arrived and it's on cooldown. So a big pick there onto Licorice. That should be a shutdown as well. It's also worth noting that Gori's actually going to go Leandry. So I'm more of a fan of that build. It is a really high damage build. So it looks like maybe just a bit of a face check situation here as Palafox saw him coming over across that ward. He's trying to get some vision down. Where does the flash? Oh, Palafox actually played that pretty well. He kept backing up because he knows that the only way out is a flash. So instead of actually moving towards him, he's moving into the river. The only way he can get out.
Yeah. If Azir's like a certain amount of space
it pulls you
behind you, you can't flash it. You have to wait for him to use it and then just flash. So Palafox playing nicely. Also been playing very well this year so far. Found many good picks in the other games as well on Licorice. So he's been the main man, I think, for NRG this split. This series, it's been all about FBI until this game, at least.
Yeah, you were talking about how you were really impressed by FBI in the last series as well.
Yeah, I think that he had so far a very good playoffs. I think that he's been a little, I wouldn't say invisible on this team, but he's been...
Or flipping. They just want to finish this.
They're sending it.
They want a full send. Licorice TPs into the pit. The Baron down to 3,500 HP. It's Sejuani flings the ulti into the pit, and Dhokla's ready to lead the way. Gori having to flash away from FBI here with the Xayah. Stixxay gets a killing spree, but it's stolen away by the side of NRG. Can they continue the fight? Re-engage coming out from River as his Jarvan drops. Contractz getting away from the DOT of the Equalizer as Licorice and Gori have to try to run. Palafox and Contractz in hot pursuit. FBI and IgNar coming around from the side as Palafox goes on a rampage. Licorice is down. It's a 2-for-1 trade plus a Baron steal for NRG.
Golden Guardians might have just thrown the series here, man.
I don't get it.
They're just full committed to that. Contractz got in the pit. That was such a risky play. And at the end of the day, Palafox takes the Baron. They lose the fight. And now NRG... Oh, no.
Wait, what?
Whoa, okay.
Oh, yeah, that was... all right, Spectator, thank you. Hop into Uber, Spectator. You might be a little drunk.
I feel like Golden Guardians...
They did not need to force it.
They ask themselves, what's the one way we can lose this game, guys? Go Baron right now and flip it. And then Gori is just doing...
I think Gori was,
something.
was trying to keep them out of the pit, but obviously it did not work out at all. He got hooked in.
Azir ult steals the Baron. Oh, man.
That is a crazy, crazy fight. Palafox, you know, they try to decide to go back in.
I feel like they have
Palafox
to keep
is
fighting.
untouched. Yeah.
Almost like they're tilted from losing the Baron. They keep fighting a fight they can't win, and even more kills go to NRG. Probably some shutdowns as well. Yeah.
Right before this fight, I want to go back to what you guys were talking about earlier when you brought up the crown on the Azir needing to follow it up with more DPS afterwards. Palafox completed the Nashor's Tooth right before this fight went down, so the Azir was in a great spot to be able to be a massive threat there. Now for NRG, you've already got plus 2,000 off of your Baron for the first half. Still a minute and 20 seconds left to go on it. You're going to get even more standing gold from these turrets. NRG has not taken a single turret so far in this game. They're going to pick up their first one there in mid lane with a tier 1. The Drake's spawning here in about 10 seconds, so they're going to have control for that as well. They stun up River, but he buffers through it with the EQ combo. Void Seeker's flying out from Stixxay down here to the right, but like you said earlier back in the draft, Zven, if he's playing the AD build, these are not the Void Seekers you're used to dodging.
He does nothing. He doesn't even max the second like the AP does, so it's all about the auto attacks this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hard game now for Golden Guardians, honestly.
They gotta be a little tilted, honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
From how hard they threw both this game and the first game.
They're just playing so
might just
aggressively
lose back
in
and
these
get free.
situations where it doesn't feel like they need to, you know? It's interesting. It's like my read on the game was definitely that the game state was fine, that they didn't need to force.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're feeling pressure or if they're feeling like we're going to get outscaled or what it is.
Yeah.
But they're clearly forcing really hard in a lot of spots where it doesn't feel like they need to.
Yeah, in first game they might have had a lot of confidence that they were ahead and they were winning the game. And in this game they might feel some sort of pressure.
Dunk coming out. River wants FBI. He finds him here with a start, but it ain't going to be enough to get the kill. FBI, however, trapped between the Weaver's wall and the Equalizer, has to continue trying to retreat. Gori keeping Dhokla zoned away from the fight. A nice use of the seismic shove. The burst is enough. Stixxay goes on a rampage, and the Golden Guardians shut down the energy push with a pick on Dhokla.
It is a good pick, but at the end of the day, FBI surviving was so important.
And he held his flash through the whole time. Really impressive by him to not just, you know, flash the moment he sees the Jarvan ult. A lot of people do that, but he actually just uses the Feather Storm and just holds the flash, knows the damage isn't enough, and that flash is huge.
Yep. I mean, they get the kill on Dhokla, but it doesn't really matter that much, honestly. There's nothing for them to take on the map.
It's a win for Golden Guardians, right? Just one kill, stopping the siege, but that one... Just so nice from FBI here, not flashing. He's behind a wall, inside the Jarvan ult and the Rumble ult, but there's no one else there. Gori was marked by Dhokla once again.
Yeah.
That cost him his life, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does cost him his life. He was obviously a little bit frustrated from that, you can tell.
What was that?
Maybe a lot of it.
Just gotta stretch it out.
Next stretch.
Oh.
Stretch it out. Palafox versus Licorice. 1v1 here on the top side. Licorice just dies to him. Palafox with a stasis, trying to buy enough time for his team to maybe come in and save him. The shield, he's still alive for now. Palafox getting away. The flag won't take him out. The shifting sands allow the energy mid laner to survive. And Golden Guardians lose 2.
Palafox coming up huge for energy there. Getting multiple kills and surviving with the stopwatch and the crown. Now they're going to take the tier 1. They can probably take the tier 2 as well. The gold lead is going to go to NRG after it was so far ahead for Golden Guardians.
The shield from Dhokla, and the Locket shield afterwards. Gotta be a tilter for Guardians.
Contractz is ready to lead the charge with the Glacial Prison, locking down Gori, but they don't have the damage to kill him immediately. Depth charge ready to chase him down. It's going to find a twofer, and it's FBI getting both. Energy are actually taking the lead in this game.
Taiba minions, they're feeling it, NRG. They're playing this game so much better than Golden Guardians.
Yeah, they're playing really aggressive, and now it just has to be a defensive equalizer here from Licorice. Trying to see if he can get a flash out, but not going to be able to with Dhokla there. But no one's with him, right? Like, if he overchase, he'll just die on the
keep chasing, they might be able to stop recalls. Baron spawning in 1 minute. You can try to chase him down here, make them base late.
If Stixxay can get in range, maybe.
Gori has
for
TP in
Plasma?
10 seconds.
Dhokla sticking around a little bit there.
Yes, TP.
Plasma tags Dhokla. FBI's now got to be careful. He has to try to flash away. Oh, with a beautiful flag and drag. And he takes out 2. IgNar's dying next. And Golden Guardians aren't done with this game just yet.
River with the 3-man knockup makes it happen. And Baron is spawning here in 30 seconds. They're not going to be able to go immediately to an objective, but getting those 3 kills really big for the momentum in this game. And Stixxay is picking up basically all of their kills.
So many people would just EQ as first as Jarvan and then ult, but River finding the angle to just ult and then saves EQ for the flash.
Beautiful.
Just beautiful.
River Jarvan, man. Golden Guardians up only 1,000 gold now after being up nearly 5,000 before.
Back to Baron. They're flipping it. They're just going to go.
Oh, boy, okay. Golden Guardians are deciding the second time's the charm.
No TP on Dhokla.
Dhokla's still dead, FBI's still dead. They're only both respawning right now. There is no way for Energy to contest this one. So now Golden Guardians are going to get their objective. We'll see what they can do with it.
It feels like Golden Guardians made this exact mistake that Energy just made in the first game when they got chased down and then lost Baron eventually.
That's PD done for Stixxay. So Stixxay's on 3 items, plus he has stopwatch. He's missing his flash, so that's actually pretty important that he did grab that stopwatch. He is really, really fed. But it's not the easiest game to play, I feel like, as AD Kai'Sa against Azir and Feathers, but they're going for another fight.
We got a fight, but Palafox isn't here. Contractz is going to die. They got to be careful about this. River with an engage on the FBI here into the back with the Feathers fly. Gori's got to be careful now, cutting back into the chase. chicken pit. Dhokla trying to
Stixxay!
Palafox is here with a start. Stixxay looking to outplay. Golden Guardians are gonna ace them here. Dhokla just barely getting away back over the wall.
Oh my god, Dhokla able to get the kill. He gets the shutdown, does survive, but it's another one fight here for Golden Guardians. Stixxay got into the back line there, was able to help finish off FBI. Palafox arrived, but Licorice got so much done. As Palafox is diving into the back line, Licorice shows up on the Rumble and is just cooking him up.
Yeah.
But these Jarvan engages have just been so massive. River, it feels like, is pulling this game back.
Yeah. Stixxay might be the one with all the kills and a pretty KDA, but River's doing all the hard work, for sure.
The gold graph for this game is going to look like a roller coaster. Let's take another look here at how this goes.
Yeah, it's River again, going in, finds the initial pick onto Contractz. They flip him back. Stixxay is focusing him down, and then the equalizer across multiple members, ults them in on top of that. Palafox decides, I'm going to go aggressive, so shifts in, flashes for the ulti, but Licorice arrives at the same time, so there's nowhere for Palafox really to go.
It just felt like the whole time Contractz was getting bursted down. Palafox having to play to the edges of the fight, wasn't able to do any DPS. The tank was absorbing while the guns weren't firing, and it meant that NRG couldn't keep up with the Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
A 4,000 gold lead now back in their possession again.
I mean, it was a really well-placed equalizer from Licorice, right? Palafox basically had to make the decision, do I full retreat from the fight and kind of just abandon ship, or do I send it? And he decided to go fully for it. Did spend his flash, did spend his ulti, ends up going down, so pretty costly fight. But Licorice now is level 16, so has the max rank ulti there and working on his 4th item as the Void Staff. So he is going to be cooking him up if River can lock him down. And Stixxay is a huge threat too, so it's going to be tough, I think, to deal with what they have now in these fights.
I gotta say, for 10 kill Kai'Sa, his items aren't that, impressive. He only has 3 items right now: the PD, the Kraken Slayer, and then the Warrior of the Quick Blades, and the stopwatch that's broken. Hang on. Huhi's looking for a flank here.
I mean,
or not.
He's got
He's just marking them.
240 CS now, and we're almost
human.
at 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have crazy farm this game.
It just feels like if I saw right now, like a static shiv, some AP items like Ludens together with
Ludens, Nashers, static shiv.
Nashers too.
You're way more scared.
I feel like I'm way more scared right now because soon the voice stuff comes in and then it's over.
I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to play AD Kai'Sa. The range is so low.
Golden Guardians are going in. Contractz forced to flash back, but now IgNar jumps in, only to have to flash back out himself. Dhokla can't find an entry off the side as Palafox has the equalizer dropped on top of him. Beautiful Cataclysm yet again, but this time River gets bursted down before we can do anything else, and the team can't follow up. Palafox goes over the wall. Shuffle only hits the enemy support. Palafox is down, and Licorice is the one burying him. Contractz dies next as Gori is still throwing another rock. Stixxay needs the Acathian rain, and when it rains, it pours. Dhokla will not get the kill, and IgNar and FBI have to fall back into the Nexus turrets. Golden Guardians continue their push down mid.
Man, Gori hit like 4 or 5 flipbacks in a row. It felt like the seismic shoves were massive, and now they could potentially push to end here. Stixxay is low though, so it'd be risky, but they're staying around. They're making a call.
IgNar just gets shoved back again, not respecting the hitbox of the seismic shove. May just die. Has to use his stopwatch. All right, he stays alive. Nexus turret number 1. Not going to tell the same story.
Palafox has TP in 50 seconds. They could try to chase here. We've seen it so many times this series. Someone getting the recalls cancelled. FBI is not going to go for it though.
No good wards as well. That's a big difference. In the game 1, when they actually did look for the end, there was multiple TP wards for them to go for. River went a little too deep on the initial play here. They do go in, they look for the seismic shove off the knockoff. Contractz is able to disjoint it with that follow-up. And then huhi goes deep, and River says, I'm going to go far to the back line, right out of the ulti from FBI. He goes in, but this time the equalizer wasn't over top of the Cataclysm, so it was a little bit of a misplay there. But at this point, it just felt like it was all about Gori to me. He kept hitting seismic shove after seismic shove. He flips in the Azir, then he flips back Contractz, and then he finds Dhokla as well. Like, he was making it happen in this fight.
Forced FPI's flash too with last one there. Really huge. Taliyah, not often a great team fighter, but Gori's making it work. Yeah, at least in this one. Early in the game, I think he had a few missteps, but so far, not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you're hitting people nonstop, with the threat of volleys, with your Qs, your DPS is pretty high in these late game fights, but it's hard to position in that where you're actually hitting effective targets, I think, and that is always the difficulty. And I think that's the difficulty just of Golden Guardians team in general, right? You're having to fight through Xayah Feathers, through the Azir soldiers, through all these tools, plus all the CC that's there if you step too far forward, so you got to be really careful.
Palafox has taken the tier 2 turret in the bottom lane, but now he needs to regroup with the rest of NRG. They only have one inhibitor left standing. There is no flash on FBI. There is flash available on River. That's going to be the thing to watch out for. Over the wall they go. Everybody else from NRG trying to dogpile into the back and keep themselves protected. Dhokla wants to give River, but he won't be able to find the damage. Licorice is on a rampage and Nautilus falls. River stays alive. NRG are collapsing. Palafox is down, and the Golden Guardians are going to take the game right here.
I think they've done it. They kill off FBI. He couldn't get the ulti off.
Yeah.
Died without popping
Didn't have
it.
his flash from the last team fight.
There it is.
Just doing so much work against Jarvan. Both,
Golden Guardians, 4 versus 2. They'll walk this one in. Dhokla and Contractz, no match for them. The series ain't over yet. Golden Guardians get their first win of the best of 5.
When nothing works for you, back to comfort. Pick Jarvan for River, and he's just doing so much work in these fights. Both in the early game, pushing flashes left and right, ganking people. But in team fight, actually did a lot of damage too. Like, he was actually killing people in these fights.
I mean, Stixxay, you already pointed it out earlier, had a great KDA. He was the one with all the big numbers there with the Kai'Sa, but it was River, easily my MVP for Golden Guardians this game.
Every team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see how FBI actually died here, because he did have the ulti available, gets knocked up by huhi, and then put into the Cataclysm, and just doesn't get it off, just doesn't respect the damage that was actually coming through there, just held on the ulti too long. Unfortunately, goes down, and as soon as he went down, that was going to be the end of it. Golden Guardians do go back to comfort. At the end of the day, they make it work, but we gotta say, this one was scary as well.
Scrappy.
That Baron throw.
And it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to dominate. Game 1 and Game 3 are very, very similar games, and Golden Guardians really has to clean it up, I think, in the mid-game.
It's the LCS's wild ride, and game number 3 delivers as the Golden Guardians keep themselves alive. Let's head on over to the LCS Lounge to break it all down.
Thank you very much, Captainflowers. You are right. This is a series in the LCS. That was a crazy, crazy game. It felt like both teams could easily won this one.
This is a reverse sweep.
Nope.
Is it?
You're
This
calling
is
it
a reverse
already?
sweep. This is a reverse sweep.
Jess put a stamp down.
Yeah. I mean,
You will have been right with your prediction.
it has all of the elements of a reverse sweep, right? An incredibly close game 1, a bad draft in game 2, and then the one where NRG had so much adrenaline going into game 3, and then almost won game 3, but then has the letdown.
Oof.
All those 3 things in sequence make it hard to come back.
Well, let's listen then on exactly how Golden Guardians are feeling. We have some replays with their comms. Let's see.
I'm clearing ball wave right now.
I have ulti now. Is red up? Ooh.
Okay.
Yo, is this allowed? We're hitting?
I have a Stella.
This is
Seju?
I can look Xayah.
Yeah. I'm fine. I saw punch.
No Xayah.
Help me, help me, help me.
No Xayah. 2 seconds. Come on, Azir. Azir dead.
Heading.
Something. Kai. If you don't die, we
I'm
win.
sure. I'm dead.
Nice try.
Can you go? Can you go?
No, I can't.
And they're calm.
I was gonna say the thing that impresses me is how calm they are in this, right? Like obviously we've kind of joked with Stixxay before about how he's been calm while the rest of his team is screaming for him to get a pentakill in previous GG comms we've listened to. But I'm shocked at how calm they were, especially when this game started so well for them and then kind of slipped away once again.
Definitely a crazy game. River in particular hulked out. I like what Zven was saying. We're like, yeah, Stixxay was picking up a lot of kills. Other people were playing well, but this was the River Jarvan game. You know, even the 3 wards that they highlighted level 1, which he did, still finds a way to go flash for first mid. He had absolutely monstrous performance, but NRG did not go quietly, and I think that's the one thing to take note as we go forward. And why it won't be a reverse sweep, Jet, it'll be a 3-1 for NRG, is that no matter what kind of advantages GG get, NRG is always able to punch back. This, again, should have been a game with a relatively clean snowball that you would expect to see in the regular season, but against NRG, it ends up 2 Barons, they're going back and forth, there's pushes going down, it's absolute insanity.
Palafox had a couple angles where it felt like he might be able to carry the game. This was a nice avoidance at first, but then you saw River is literally just everywhere on Jarvan. This is how he gets in your head. You're like recalling.
Where am I safe?
And there's just nowhere that's safe, but we'll get to it in a bit. I think one of the pivotal fights for Palafox.
Yeah, I also think the big thing that we absolutely have to touch upon is still that this game was GG's to win. Like, I feel like it was fully in their control, and they keep making unforced errors that allow NRG to get back in the game, whether it's choosing to fight when they shouldn't, whether it's their setups, whether it's just making a kind of like whoopsie in the side lane. I think both this game and game 1, if I'm GG, I'm looking at how I can eliminate a lot of these unforced errors to let NRG get a foothold and get back in the game through team fighting.
Definitely something Golden Guardians will want to do. If you look at their history as an organization, which we were highlighting at the start of the day, they have been an upwards trajectory for them after making it to MSI, after finishing 6th in the regular season. They then go to their first finals, they go to their first international appearance, they tie the regular season in first place, which made them, I think for a lot of people, myself included, very heavy favorites for this series. And the fact that they are now staring down a reverse sweep or handing over a world spot to NRG if they drop the next game, it's a big black eye at the end of what looks like should be an upward trajectory with an org that really hasn't had a ton of successes throughout their time.
13-5 record, best in their history. First time they've won more than 50% of their games in a split. There was that 10-win curse that they were able to break at the start. But I gotta say, even after the game 1 loss, the coach interview that you did with Choose, Emily, where he said, that was probably the worst way we could have won game 1, but everyone here has lost a lot. So we're going to be able to deal with it. Is, I think, interesting ammo for them as they try and pull off a reverse sweep here. Other tidbit, if Golden Guardians did flail out of playoffs and finish 4th place, I'd love to have them represent us in the NA versus EU game.
Oh, that's the optimism.
So, like, either way, the fans win, right? I think NRG getting their first Worlds in Org's history, or Golden Guardians pulling off the reverse sweep. But really, with the way they're playing, I'd be happy with these teams in the 4th place game.
Well, and then for NRG, who we just kind of saw, I want to see how they bounce back, right? Because obviously, you talked about it going in. I know, Mark, you also brought up anecdotally your experience with this. When you get super, super hyphy, you're up 2-0, you didn't expect to be, and then you lose game 3. And in this particular game 3, a game that GG did give them multiple windows of opportunity to win.
Yeah, it was plenty of time experiencing reverse sweeps. You start to, you don't like talk about it, but it's impossible to stop those thoughts going in your head about going to Worlds and like if this upset happens, if we win one more. And I do think it's fair to say that they seemed more on separate pages this time for NRG. They're a team that are really aggressive, and sometimes they see the game the same way and they blow people out of the water. Sometimes they don't see it the same way. They're still both being aggressive, and you have Palafox pushing someone while Dhokla ults him over the wall, and neither get what they want.
Yeah, these games, as much as the draft is going to matter, so much of what's happening right now is going to be mental game for these teams. Whether or not they can just find focus, be calm, and just be playing League of Legends rather than worrying about all these different implications of what's going to happen.
So as you see, NRG choose red side. Very interesting to see them stay on this side after dropping a game on red side.
They're not going to be able to control Kai'Sa, and Kai'Sa's been dominant in all 3 games this series.
Well, we'll have to see what NRG want to do for it. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, game 4 is on the other side.
Guardians, are we ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not quite yet. The way how we're playing.
We're ramping up a bit.
Yeah, huhi's the target here at the very start, but they ain't gonna burst him down. Instead, it's IgNar killed first. huhi with a beautiful stasis to prevent NRG from getting the kill back on him. Now River's here in the front, FBI's free firing. Palafox already got the kill on huhi. Golden Guardians just found themselves in a real bad spot. It's a 3-for-1 for NRG.
You wanna?
I can.
Nice!
Xayah.
No flash, yeah?
Yeah, go.
No flash.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do Baron.
You gotta fight, but Palafox isn't here. Contractz is gonna die. They gotta be careful about this. River with an engage on the FBI here into the back with the feathers fly. Gori's gotta be careful now, cutting back into the chicken pit. Dhokla trying to re-engage. Palafox is here with a start. Stixxay looking to outplay. Golden Guardians.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
With Verizon's new My Plan, I get exactly what I want and only pay for what I need.
Now I'm in charge of my plan.
Introducing My Plan from Verizon. You get exactly what you want and only pay for what you need. And it all starts at just $30. It's your Verizon.
何かに怯え知り続
世界に銀河に広がってくそれがいつか